What's the longest word found in the English language? Smiles. The first and the last letters are miles away. This morning, I'll try to review a 2017 action thriller film titled The Wall. The film debuts within Iraq in 2007 after the conclusion of the long-running war that was fought between Iraq with the United States announced by President Bush. Despite the fact that the war has been resolved, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Matthew and their spotter Sergeant Al and Isaac find themselves assigned to a bleak pipeline construction site deep inside Iraq. Their task is to track the notorious sniper whose goal appears to be eliminating each American working at the site. They hide behind rocks, attempting to locate the adversaries under the scorching desert sun. They've already put in more than 20 hours to search for the suspected shooter. After many hours of constant waiting, Matthew grows restless and declares that there aren't any Iraqi soldiers around. He examines the dead workers in the vicinity to conclude that his site was attacked by a group of Iraqi soldiers who later gone. When Isaac is informed of that Matthew has been killed, he attempts to soothe Matthew and proposes that the accuracy of the murders, which include everyone being killed by headshots, could be the job of a professional sniper. He even suggests that it could be Chuba, who is a well-known Iraqi sniper. Yet, Matthew disregards this theory and claims that there is no way a sniper trained in the Rockies could be capable of executing the same amount of time in 30 seconds of time. As the hours go by, Matthew's patience eventually snaps and he decides to go on a personal investigation. Isaac warns him not to do this, pointing out the significant likelihood that a skilled sniper might be in the vicinity. However, Matthew steps out from their hiding place, armed with his weapons, and asks Isaac to protect him from behind as he walks towards his construction area. As he approaches the construction site, Matthew stumbles upon the dead bodies of soldiers and construction workers. He grabs an old radio from an errant soldier and continues in his direction. While he is there, Isaac is struggling to keep Matthew on his radar due to his blurred view. Isaac immediately reveals this to Matthew, however Matthew criticizes him for not fixing it earlier when it's evidently malfunctioning. In his defense, Isaac mentions this scope is a beloved item belonging to their deceased friend Dean and was infused with sentimental value. Matthew investigates the dead and is stunned to find that all of them were killed by precisely placed headshots. The thought that a sniper might be in the vicinity begins to worry him, and he informs Isaac. When he hears that, Isaac strongly advises him to get out of the area as fast as possible. But, despite the caution of Isaac, Matthew remains in the middle of the scene and is trying to identify the likely origin to the shots. Isaac shouts over the radio to get Matthew to leave, but it's too late. Matthew is struck in the stomach by a shooting sniper's bullet. While watching the incident, Isaac swiftly moves to assist his fellow soldier, sprinting in a zigzag pattern that is unpredictable to avoid the fire that is threatening him. But before he's able to move Matthew to a safe location, the two are both wounded in the leg by the bullet. He is forced to leave Matthew in his place. Isaac is able to hide behind an edifice. In the meantime, Matthew proposes that Isaac should make a move to the base in search of reinforcements and helpers. Isaac assesses the gunshot wound to his leg. He is attempting to reduce the flow of blood by tying an elastic bandage around the wound. The radio is pulled out of his bag with the aim of connecting to their base, but discovers that the radio hasn't been able to receive any signals. On closer inspection, it is discovered that the radio was damaged by a bullet, making the antenna useless and rendering him unable to request assistance. Matthew implores Isaac to find the sniper so that he could stop his fire with greater effectiveness. Isaac is trying to dissuade. Matthew warns him that any action could trigger the sniper to start firing in a continuous manner. However, Matthew attempts unsuccessfully to grab the weapon of the sniper and finally collapses due to the combination of extreme bleeding and pain and realizes that there's nothing to do. Isaac chooses to devote his time tending to the injury. When he does, the patient loses consciousness. When he regains consciousness, Isaac perceives a faint sound coming through the earpiece of his radio. He is elated when he realizes that a police officer at the base is trying to establish contact. When he realizes the situation, he demands assistance and medical aid. When the officer requests him to provide his location in order to send medical assistance, he becomes skeptical about the credibility of the claims made by the caller. To determine his precise coordinates, the person on the other end of the line advises Isaac to raise his arms and fire shots in the air. Isaac is suspicious of this suggestion further since it is against the norm. While he is attentive to the speaker, Isaac realizes that the speaker not an American officer, but instead an enemy sniper who's tapping to radio frequencies of the American base's radio frequency. The man's accent assisted Isaac in arriving at this conclusion. Even though his identity is exposed, the sniper requests Isaac to continue talking and expresses his curiosity to know more about the man. At first, Isaac resists complying with the request of the sniper. However, after threatening to shoot at Matthew once more, Isaac succumbs. Isaac insists on having the snipers talk first, and then seizes the opportunity to sketch an outline of their surroundings on the ground in hopes of finding the whereabouts for the target. The sharpshooter asks Isaac regarding his relatives' members, but Isaac does not respond, saying that it's not a personal matter to discuss. He then mocks the sniper, claiming that he's taking lives of people who want to boost their nation's economy. After hearing that, the sniper smiles, expressing his knowledge that the funds weren't designed for his nation. However, they are to be used by America, United States. While Isaac continues to hide personal details about himself, the sniper is threatening to slash Matthew once more. However, this time Isaac takes the threat lightly, which leads the sniper reveal his knowledge about Dean's death. The revelation is enough to leave Isaac stunned and unsure of how he could figure out how the sniper might obtain such information. After a short time, he is able to sit in his water bottle only to discover a gap created by the sniper's bullet. The sniper, aware Isaac's predicament, confesses to intentionally shooting Isaac's bottle of water as well as his radio antenna and knee. He explains that he carried out these actions to deter Isaac's chance of escape. He adds that Isaac will die from his serious injuries and excess blood loss prior to the dawn break. Then, Isaac strives to ascertain the weapon in the possession of the sniper. Isaac also calls the sniper as a terrorist, but the sniper simply ignores the accusation by reminding Isaac that he's who is in another country with a gun who is causing harm to other people. After a careful examination of the scope of his rifle, Isaac discovers the target hiding in the midst of trash. In the conditions, Isaac assumes that the person who sniped him is professional, perhaps Juba. The sniper, however, isn't Juba by claiming to be normal Iraqi citizen. This causes Isaac to conclude that Juba is in fact a dangerous U.S. Army officer. Again, the shooter denies this and claims that his intention is to shoot only those who pose danger to him. Then, due to extreme fatigue and hunger, Isaac is overcome and falls on the ground. The sniper later reveals his sinister plan of slicing the skin off of Isaac's face posthumously before the tongue of Isaac in his chest. Isaac develops a plan to fool the sniper by putting his jacket and helmet on a pole made of wood. But the sniper is able to see through the trick and causes Isaac to be forced to take off his helmet and jacket, leaving him with no alternative. He hurries to the nearby soldier who is dead, hoping to find something valuable in the soldier's back. However, upon returning, he discovers that his spyglass has been damaged, making him ineffective at identifying the location of the sniper. At this point, the sniper detects a change in the radio signals, which leads him to believe Matthew may be alive. He contacts Matthew and reveals that the sniper's hideout is inside the structure. While Isaac attempts at stifling the sharpshooter, Matthew carefully pulls out a reflective symbol from his pocket and carefully examines the pile of dirt. As Matthew moves in stealth towards his weapon, sharpshooter reveals his experiences as a teacher in Baghdad and how the death of his students during an American attack prompted him to embark into a violent attack against American soldiers. In the meantime, the sharpshooter questions Isaac regarding how he got the broken spyglass. After Isaac is unable to respond for a time, and then the aggressor is threatening to shoot at Matthew, unaware of how Matthew is actually alive. Isaac admits that he keeps the spyglass as a memory of his close friend Dean and also to remind him of his own mistake which led to Dean's death. In the moment, Matthew places his weapon on the ground and points it towards the trash heap. He fires several times, however, as he tries to recharge. The sharpshooter comes back by hitting Matthew directly in his shoulder using a shot. The result is that Isaac plans to launch a sly attack against the sharpshooter. Unfortunately, a bullet fatally is fired at Matthew in the head prior to Matthew can get to the spot of hiding. The scene frightens Isaac emotionally, causing him to express his desire to return home. The sharpshooter assures Isaac that the sharpshooter will not harm the person if it's his intention. Sharpshooter then asks Isaac about his existence in a country that has seen the end of war. After a few seconds, Isaac discloses that he is the one who caused Dean's death. He had inadvertently shot him when aiming at the sharpshooter. He also admits to fooling everyone by claiming Dean's death to a sharpshooter from the enemy. While in the middle of this conversation, he can hear the sound emanating from the radio transmitter that prompts him to run towards the radio to make contacts with it. The radio's serious damaged state allows him to listen to conversations without making any request for help. It is then realized by Isaac his sharpshooter was in contact with his US base and requesting backup throughout the entire time. Every attempt to join in the conversations is unsuccessful. In the end, Isaac wakes up to the sound of a crow squealing at Matthew's wounded firearm from the trash pile and shoots at his concealed sharpshooter. In the event that he spots helicopters coming and helicopters, he tries to push down the wall to show his location. The sharpshooter also attempts to find him, but the dust from the wall's collapse blocks his view. Isaac shoots a shot in a state of uncertainty about its impact on the person and the target. He stands up to check, and if the sharpshooter isn't hurt, Isaac believes that the shot succeeded, hurting or killing the sharpshooter. After a short time, helicopters arrive behind him, and the soldiers are able to take him away on stretchers. He attempts to warn them of the sharpshooter hidden in the background but fails to communicate the message clearly to soldiers. After the helicopters depart, the sharpshooter begins to pick off soldiers one by one. Before Isaac is able to warn that they are being targeted, the helicopter pilot gets killed, causing a massive crash that killed everyone on board. The sharpshooter, who is posing in the role of an American soldier, calls his American base and asks for a second rescue team. If you like the video, don't feel reluctant to click the like button. And if you don't like it, press the dislike button 2 times to make sure. It's best if you viewed the entire film. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Please follow us on YouTube for more videos similar to this.